Okay, we are in the second portion of our post-game interview here in the NCAA Quarterfinals. Our winners of today, Susquehanna. Joining us on the panel, to my immediate left, Tom Perkovich. Down the line, Chris Bookter, Eli Kantor, and Garrett Carter. We have a microphone, once again, for anyone interested in asking questions for our media, but we'll start off with Coach's comments. So, Coach Perk, floor is yours.
Yeah, appreciate everyone covering our, today in our program. I just can't say enough about our young men, our team. Things were not going our way early and in the first half today. The character they showed and the resilience they've shown throughout the playoffs here has been really special. So proud of them. That's why I've got three captains with me. I wanted those guys here with us because leadership matters. These guys have been leading us all year, and just really proud of how we finished. Before any questions about the time management, I screwed up the end of the game. I take full responsibility. All right, I was going to run it down, and then I thought about, if we didn't get it, giving ourselves some time there at the end, in the situation on the one. But in hindsight's 2020, I did mess that up, but our defense had my back, and got a big stop at the end there, even though it was over, and then it wasn't over, and then it was over. I don't know. But it was a very emotional game today, incredibly physical game. Bethel's an outstanding program. They're really good in a lot of spaces. They've got some great looking players, and the physicality they play with was something that we haven't seen in a while this year, maybe since early in the year. They were well coached, and hats off to them on a great game. But really proud of our team for continuing to stick together and continuing to make plays today. Just really proud of our guys.
Coach, Bethel's coach spoke of the end of the game's sequence. What were your feelings about it, just to be complete about having everybody's take on on the reffing situation? Videos are showing a clear hold, but obviously there's questions about whether things were being consistently called throughout the day. What were your feelings generally about how this game was in terms of letting the players decide versus the officials deciding a type of scenario?
I'm not going to get fined, am I?
Don't mention the officials specifically.
All right.
Maybe talk about the players. How's that?
Just want to make sure. I don't know if I can, handle that fine. I thought it was a clear hold on Brian. I thought there was probably a couple more that could have been called. I'm sure there's ones that everyone wants. It's the most ambiguous call currently in college football. I say it every year. I played offensive line, and I cannot tell you what a holding is currently in college football. The stuff that you see week to week. But I thought for the most part they let us play. There were some things that could have went either way. In the end, they got it right. I think they got the situation right and the scenario right. They jumped the gun a little bit on calling the game, obviously, with the emotional part of it, us coming off, them coming off. You got to, they always say you got to officiate the plays, not the moment, right? And so I think they did that in that moment, and obviously it negated a touchdown to win the game for them. And we went out there and made one more play that we needed to make, but it was officiated correctly at the end of the game.
Eli, tell me about that last drive for the offense. Ultimately, video again shows he made the goal line, but apparently Siri wants to talk about it too. But Josh did make it, but the plays before, when they're trying to go directly toward the goal line instead of trying to bounce outside, obviously were a challenge, and they were seeming to win the line of scrimmage battle in those plays. Talk about that situation a little bit and about the wills that were at that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, so the coaches were putting it on the offensive line, our backs, having faith in us, trusting us to get 1 or 2 yards there. And Bethel's front they're really good. They're a good front. So it was a battle, and we weren't able to get it on first, second, third down, but luckily, Josh was able to take it outside on fourth down and get in there. But yeah, they're very, very good.
Coach, I think the biggest difference in this game was quarterback play from the first half to the second half. How would you compare Josh's performance in both halves?
Yeah, it was a very up and down day for him. I thought that, for whatever reason, he wasn't on his game as he's been in maybe other weeks. We missed some opportunities and certain things, wasn't seeing it as well. But I thought that last drive he did a great job, of finding some things, the fourth down, third downs, fourth downs, big plays, huge plays by Chris. And Hunter on the sideline, the big play to Kyle, a couple big plays there. So I thought he got a little rhythm, as we were going on that drive. But, he knows it. He knows he's got to be better. 14 to 27 is not his day, not his usual day with the way he's been playing. He got messed up on the one long pass that got picked, I think, on what side we were the strength. But he knows that he's got to play better going forward next week. But man, he's a gutsy player, right? I mean, the hits he took, the getting us extra yards, being able to run the ball, and then making some of those huge throws at the end of the game. We have full confidence in him. I know the players do. I know those guys have his back, and they feel like he gives us the best chance to win. But I don't think I'd rank this up there with his best performances. But again, he's gutsy, man, and you want that with your quarterback, to have success. And even when he got banged up, a little bit, he was able to, stay in the game and handle what he needed to. So he led us to the win. And then at the end, he got banged up on the one sack and still found a way to get in the end zone and get that inch that we needed.
Garrett, this one's for you. To talk about the defense real quick, kind of an overlooked portion of the game. Down 14-7, Bethel's got the ball. They can get up by 2 scores. You're able to force a punt, and then coming out of the break, forcing another punt. So just how crucial was that sequence to keep you guys in the game, keep it a one-score game, and give your offense a chance to tie the game on the ensuing possession?
It was very huge. I mean, our whole message was bend, don't break. We wanted to get a stop there, a key stop going into half, and we ended up getting it done. And when plays needed to be made, the defense were able to make them today.
And Eli, you guys almost rushed for 200 yards on the day, 189, but also Josh took 6 sacks today. So how do you guys clean that up going forward into the semifinal round, most likely against North Central?
Yeah, so it's a lot to clean up from offensive line perspective, but luckily it's easier to clean up after a win than a loss, and just make those changes this week so that Josh isn't taking those hits. He can be better.
And lastly, Coach, to make it to the NCAA semifinals, first time since 1991, deepest run in over 30 years. Talk about how special this run has been and how you guys are kind of taking it to the fullest with such a veteran group. It could be the last game for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, all these games could be the last game, right? I think that's the message we've tried to instill in them. Is it's 1-0. I told them before the game, that the pressure of today was no different than the pressure of Hobart. It's survive and advance, right? So just because it's further down the road, the pressure of the game or the things that you're looking at really don't change, right? In a playoff format. We probably felt a little bit of it. They didn't totally heed the warning, but it's a special moment. No team in 125 seasons has ever won 12 games. It's only the second time we've been to the Final Four, and this is why some of these guys either came back or stuck it out in our program. They know the vision that we set forth years ago when they were recruited here, and that we've talked about throughout our time. These guys have just won their 41st game in 4 years. I mean, it's a special group, and so just really, a big moment for us, a huge step for our program, to beat 2 teams from that conference. The top 2 teams is from the Midwest, because you just, the bracket, when we saw the bracket come out, you're like, you don't know anything about anyone, right? Whereas if you're in the East, you see people on tape, you know more about people, you recruit against them, you see them around, seeing teams you'd never played. There's some differences in philosophy and, just how they play, and, the size of these teams is a little different. That was a really big team and long team. So I'm just so proud of our guys for what they've done and how they've done it. And they've strapped Susquehanna on their back and set us on in an amazing course, I think. But I know they're excited to play more football and, see what can happen next week.
Coach, when you say about the way the offense executed on third and fourth downs, especially a lot of third and fourth and longs in this game, including the game winner?
It's kind of, if you're watching us, that's what been our deal, right? We were 12 of 15 against Hobart on third down. We were 10 of 17 last week. We weren't as great on fourth down last week against St. John's, but today 4 of 4 on fourth down is huge, and 50%, on third down. We put ourselves in a lot of bad situations today. I think there were a lot of third and longs. Our average had to be 8 or 9 yards probably on the day, which is not good. But we overcame it. Guys made big plays, either, with their feet or catching the ball. I know Chris had a big day, on it, but the fourth downs were, the difference. Obviously, in the game, you're 4 of 4 on those, especially down in the last drive and the way things went. Just says a lot about our kids. We practice it a lot. It's something we, are prepared for. But I think, to say that against that defense is a pretty nice day comparative to where they were at coming into the game with their numbers.
And then, Chris, for you, what can you say about the day you had? How were you feeling? What was kind of the rapport between you and Josh, just by having it being an off day for him? And what did you see on the touchdown that tied the game at 14?
Yeah, so me and Josh throw all the time. Throughout practice, we're always executing the plays, and then I just throw with him extra. Me and him are always on the side, even before each drive. We're throwing a lot, so I have a lot of trust in him. No matter how he's playing, I know that he's going to be able to get it in the spot when the moment comes. And then on that play, I saw that they had man. I had a seam, and I just knew that earlier in the week we said if we have that, just win either way, inside or outside. I won. He was a lot of contact from him, but I saw the ball in the air. Gave him some late hands and was able to execute the play and score the touchdown.
Chris, 4th and 11 was probably one of the biggest plays in terms of setting the tempo for you guys after it looked like you were having some trouble moving the ball initially. I think you caught it at the 28-yard line, needing to get to the 29 on their side of the field. Josh had some happy feet in that first half. There's no doubt about it. Cal's mom said as much as too, so Cal's mom says it must be true. But nonetheless, what did you say to him around that pass time to begin to calm him down? Because it was clearly something not energetically, adrenaline-wise, something was a little bit out of whack there, but that was a key play right there.
Yeah, I just try to don't let him psych himself out. He knows he can make the play. We see him make these plays all the time. Throughout the season, he's made some incredible plays. He makes them all the time. And I just let him know that I know he's going to make the play, make the throw, we'll make the catch, we got your back. A big message for today for the whole team was we got your back. No matter if the defense is behind or the offense is behind, we got you. So that was really the big message today. And I think that I just reminding him of that and just saying, let's go, let's get this drive. This is the one. And making every play that we could until the end. And I really try to tell the team that it's not over till it's over. I have an upbeat attitude even when it's 2 minutes left. I'm like, man, it's getting close, isn't it? But well, I just want him to make the play, and I tell him that he knows how to make the play. So just doing that, and he was able to do it in the end.
Garrett, we were doing tail of the tape on our show this weekend. It looked like the defense has been giving up some yards this season. There's no doubt about it. And at this point in the playoffs, you can't let 300-plus yards up. What are you guys doing to clamp down, and especially against a team like North Central next week? How do you even begin to make sure, 14 games into the season, you can clamp down at that point?
At the end of the day, we're just going to play Susquehanna football. We're going to hit the practice field on Monday. We're going to get the game plan and go from there, clean up some small stuff. Today we didn't tackle well, so we're definitely going to get on top of that. But, we tend to get criticized a lot, but when the chips fall down, our defense makes plays when it has to. And I have my defensive back, and they have ours. So,
Coach, Katie Bolovich from the Landmarks here. You've made history for the Landmark as a new football conference, the first team to reach the semifinals from the Landmark Conference ever, and it's only in the second full season of the Landmark playing football. How does that feel in terms of the leadership you're giving in terms of that conference, starting out, from nothing a couple of years ago to now?
Well, I hope it continues to increase the profile of our conference. There's a lot of people that don't, think it's great or don't think it. There's a one team, in the race kind of type of thought process. But I do believe, we have some really good young coaches in our conference and people that, are going to get their programs better. And you saw it this year. Things were, some new head coaches into bowl games and. The competitiveness was up, and we saw, we had a better showing in the non-conference games, which we had talked about as a coaching group of, if you want that profile to go up, you got to be more competitive in those games than we were a year ago. And I thought it was a really nice step forward, and a really nice job in the bowl game with, Moravian beating Shenandoah had all region players and all that, and had a nice year, and Moravian did a really nice job. So it's good to see that. But I think we're playing really good football, and it'll continue to increase.
Coach, on that last offensive drive, you got stuffed on first, second, third down. What was your thought process into making that fourth down play call?
Well, I didn't make it. Mike Wind made it. I have utmost confidence in him. He's done an amazing job all year. Mike's. First year OC, the numbers we've put up and the things we've done has been awesome. Obviously I'm involved, but we went with a play that we have been running. It's been one of those plays in that situation. We dress it up some different ways. We we flip it. We run it to the field. We run to the boundary. We just knew that. We thought we would have some people open. Either way it went with the coverages they were playing and. And Josh did a great job of delivering the ball.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris, with Kyle being kind of bottled up in that first half and not having his usual game, do you feel a little more urgency on your part to make a few of those plays and like you ended up doing at the end there?
I feel I have a lot of confidence in myself, and I have a lot of confidence in Kyle. And I feel that we all feel, Kyle, myself, and JT, that we have multiple number one receivers out there. I don't feel, when I'm out there, I'm just going out there to catch the ball. That's why I play football. I just like catching the ball. When it comes my way, I get excited. And, I know K5 plays that number one receiver role, but I can also make those big plays. And when the time comes down to it, if it's thrown my way, I'm going to make that play. So I didn't feel any extra pressure. I just was doing what I've been doing all year.
Guys, welcome to the national semifinals.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And I'll go as far as to mention, following live stats, if that's any clear indication, North Central leads Springfield 27-3 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That is all.
All right, thank you, guys.